morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio, and I'm back from Bristol Regionals and ready to show you the cards right away again. Now, while I was at Bristol Regionals, a new Leavanny card was revealed, and we do have a translation from the lovely David Hochmann over at RappelMann TCG on Facebook. So let's have a little bit of a gander, shall we? Now, of course, it is a Stage 2. Stage 2 is a little bit of a pain. What is awesome, however, is that we've got Rowlet and a Alolan Exeggutor. That's got the attack for 0 energy that lets you evolve one of your grass basics into a Stage 1 or a Stage 2. So you could just get this out straight away, pop down the basic, evolve into Leavanny for 0 energy. It's easier to get these grass Pokemon out than it has been since we lost, Forest of Giant Plants. This is quite nice. Now, if we have a look at the basics here, 120 HP for a Stage 2 is pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. I mean, things like Greninja, back in X and Y base, had 130 as a Stage 2, and that was a little bit low. We're years on, and we're rocking 120. When you got stuff like Mamoswine sitting there at 180, and a whole bunch of stuff like Dragonite sitting there at 160, and even those cards are not that recent, 120 is pitiful. And then we got a weakness to fire, which is terrible, if I'm honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely terrible, because fire decks are amazing at the moment because they've got cards like Welder coming in. The only saving grace here is that a lot of people in their fire decks are playing Volcanion, and Volcanion for 2 energy does 50 damage base, 110 if they've got 4 fire energy in play. That's only 2 more than Volcanion has on, and that won't KO you. But yeah, terrible HP, bad weakness. The good news is it's got a retreat cost of 1, so either U-turn board or escape board can help you to retreat, which is very nice. And being a grass Pokemon, it's alright. You're hitting weakness on Lycanroc. That's quite cool. Really, it's because you've got Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor. Don't sleep on the fact that you've got Life Forest, Prism Star, and Shaman to get some healing done. But then by the same token, you got 120 HP and a terrible weakness. I don't think healing is really what you're going to be focusing on too much here. Well, healing Leavanny we're not going to be focusing on, but healing your other ones we might be, because Leavanny's ability here is actually really good. Reduce all damage done to your grass Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon by 40. Now, just like we saw with the Incineroar from Unbroken Bond that lets your Pokemon do an extra 30, it does not stack. It specifically says in the wording you cannot apply more than one of these abilities at a time. If you could, then you could potentially be sitting here rocking along with 4 of these. And remember, with Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor, it's not that hard to get them out. And then all your Pokemon are taking 160 less from attacks, so in order to get a one-hit KO on a Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor, you'd have to be doing 430 damage. That's 220 if you're hitting for weakness. And then if not, you can be healing with all of your Life Forest Prism Star, although you couldn't have 4 Leavanny out and 4 Shaman, not unless you're an expanded and you're rocking a bit of the old Skyfield. So it doesn't stack, it reduces by 40. If it did stack, then there would genuinely be a potential here for some kind of broken deck with multiples of these. Without the stacking, it's a nice bonus, but it really isn't any more than that. Now, in terms of reducing damage, 40 is better than a lot of the alternatives, many of which you can combine with this. So if we take Choice Helmet, for example, that reduces damage done to the Pokemon to which it is attached from EXs and GXs by 30. Well, this is 10 more than that. We had Hard Charm in the past and Eviolite, both of which reduce damage done to you by 20. So they're actually even a little bit stepped down again. And let's not forget that at the moment we're all in metal decks excited about Lucario and Melmetal, which, if you use a GX attack, you reduce damage done to all of your metal Pokemon by 30 for the remainder of the game. So reducing damage by 40 really is 10 more than we're used to from attacks like this. And if you're going to be going Leavanny, this could work. Because you reduce by 40, but then you use something like Choice Helmet, so you're reducing by 70, but then you've got your Shaman, your Life Forest Prism Star, so you're healing as well. You can make a very, very tanky deck here. Now, one of the things that springs to mind as a partner for this initially is Celebi and Venusaur. And Celebi and Venusaur did all right at Bristol Regionals. There were a few that did quite well. And that deck basically goes, look, I've got 270 HP, and I can just sit here and heal. And yeah, fine, if you end up against a Blacephalon, you're going to be having a bad time, because they'll just be getting fairly easy one-hit KOs. But if you don't, you're probably going to be doing all right here. You're probably going to be in a fairly decent position. And then you ask the question, well, does Venusaur need it? If you're playing a Venusaur deck, are you going to play Leavanny? Because here's the thing, right? We've already got a really good Stage 2 Gras Pokemon that can help protect you. It's the Sceptile from Celestial Storm, which incidentally will give you immunity to Ultra Beast. So something like Blacephalon, for instance, you can just go, ha ha ha, now I've got complete immunity. But how many people are really playing this in their Celebi and Venusaur deck lists? I'm sure some people are, but I'm also fairly convinced that a lot of people aren't. And if we're not making way for a Stage 2 that pretty much gives you an auto win against your worst matchup, are we going to make way for a Stage 2 that gives you a little bit of extra survivability and helps you a little bit in all your matchups, but is far from stunningly amazing? And I'm not sure that we are. Celebi and Venusaur decks essentially work by just being hyper consistent and sitting there and rocking along and doing a bit of healing. And they generally play 4 Celebi and Venusaur and 3 Shaman. And as much as I can look at this in a vacuum and go, yes, Leavanny reduces damage done by 40, that is exactly the kind of thing this deck is going to want. Outside of the vacuum, I can look at this and go, well, yeah, I'm not sure. And that's a shame here, it really is. Now, we don't have Rowlet and Alolan Executor at the moment, so Celebi and Venusaur decks aren't playing that. Maybe in the future, and I think this is the best hope for Leavanny. I think the best hope for it is we're using Rowlet and Alolan Executor. We are getting it going straight away, and it's literally your first turn going second, play the basic, use the attack for 0 energy, boom. Now all your Pokemon are taking 40 less from attacks. And then you start combining it with stuff like Choice Helmet, Life Forest Prism Star, couple of Shaman, and now I think it could work. This could be an essential ingredient in new tanky grass decks. I am, however, a little bit apprehensive. Now, in terms of the attack here, we don't need no translation. Grass, colorless, 70 damage. I mean, look, we're moving into a format that's not even going to have Choice Band, so I mean, look, you'll get most evolving basics. You will get a lot of non-GXs at a week. So if people start playing the non-GX Lycanroc, the one from Forbidden Light that's got the really nice, dangerous rogue attack, you will get a fairly easy KO on that. But when the best you can say is you're getting evolving basics and non-GXs at a week, I do unfortunately sit there and go, meh. It's not a garbage attack, and in grass decks it's only 2 energy. You'll probably use it at some point. But I don't think it's a particularly good attack. It's an emergency, oh, hang on a second, I forgot I had this, rather than a ha-ha-ha, little does my opponent know in a couple of turns I'm going to drop this like a hammer. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. New Leavanny. Oh, we need to give a score, don't we? Let's give it let's give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I don't think it's amazing, but I do think people are going to use Rowlet and Alolan Executor to make a good deck with it, so I think it is worth having a play and a test around with. But I would like to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice with you. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/TheWassy. patreon.com/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/What'sHePlays, where we talk about other games and have a lot of fun doing so. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.